right, you are live, and I see Commissioner Majerick is en route here. Just one
Okay.
second.
Okay. Oh, there he is.
Okay, so you're good to
Perfect.
go.
Hi, Mike.
All right. Well, should we call the meeting to order? Mike, you want to call everything to order? I think you're still on mute.
I'll call the meeting to order. And Annette, can you do the roll call, please?
Actually, I'll do that for you. Freely,
Present.
Clet,
Here.
can you tell me via Zoom and where you're located?
There you go.
I am located at 2122 Marquette Woods Road, Stevensville. I'm at home.
Okay, Majerick. You're on mute.
Mike, you're still on mute. There you go.
Yeah, there you go. Niles, Michigan, Michael Majerick present.
Meeks,
Present, Ben Charter Township.
Vangenhoven.
Present via Zoom, Lincoln Charter Township.
We have 5 present, and just a side note that Freeling is in her vehicle traveling.
Okay.
Thank you. Appreciate you updating that.
Okay, you want to do approval of minutes from the January
Yes.
14th, right?
Actually, I'm trying to look up the agenda and I can't find it right now, but so everybody get to read
Mr.
the
Chair.
minutes?
Mr. Chair, this is Commissioner Freeling. I would move that we approve the meeting minutes.
I'll
As
second
presented.
that.
It's been approved and seconded, and has everybody have any discussion about it? Okay, then we'll take the roll call.
Freeling,
Yes.
Clet,
Yes.
Majerick,
Yes.
Meeks,
Yes.
Vangenhoven.
Yes.
You have 5 yeas.
Okay. Mike, I'll help you along here. The next
Yeah,
order.
I'm trying to find it. I can't
Yeah.
find it.
That's okay. Well, we'll help you here. The next order of business correspondence. And we have no correspondence this month.
Okay.
Do you want me to do that, Dan, as vice chair?
Sure, that would be helpful, Lee. Yep.
Oh, okay. Next item on the agenda then is public comments. Annette or Jeanette, do we have anyone public on the live meeting?
You do actually, you have, so let me just check really quick and see if we have any public comments.
Maybe what we can do is circle back to public comments after the miscellaneous items, since we have a relatively short agenda. So I'll come back to that then, Annette.
Okay.
Dan, budget review on the financial statement.
Okay, we sent the basic balance sheet and cash balance statement to you earlier today. We have, as of this morning, we have $1,794,415.45 in cash, which is also our fund balance. We have no outstanding liabilities. We're expecting, again, just to remind you, we're expecting somewhere around 1.3 to $1.3.5 million of tax increment revenue coming in this year. When I mention the cash balance, I want to always emphasize that includes pre-collected tax increment revenue from the 2020 tax cycle, and we'll start making our distributions on that. probably early next month. Tax settlement is ongoing right now, and once the settlement is completed, then we make our distributions. We still have about $54,000 to collect from the winter taxes, and I've talked to the county treasurer, and as she settles with the communities that still owe their winter taxes to us, she'll make sure that that's part of the settlement process and will be made whole. It'll close out March 30th or 31st, I'm sorry, and we'll probably end up distributing $1,295,000 in tax increment revenue to the various projects, the majority of which is Harbor Shores, obviously. So that'll leave us with kind of a true fund balance or cash balance of a little over $500,000 for this year. No other information to report. I mean, everything seems to be pretty well in order financially. We don't have any large expenditures coming our way that I can see right now, subject to change if new projects emerge over the next 9 months or so. So that is, we don't have any bills to approve either. So that's the financial report for the day.
Well, it's nice to be in this position as we head into, you know, several likely projects later in the year.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah,
All
we're
right.
not anticipating having to pre-fund any of these projects, but it's always nice to have some cushion if we do get involved in direct direct costs involved in these projects. I had mentioned, I think late last year, that we may want to start drawing out some administrative expenses from our fund balance. It's been years since the county actually charged the Brownfield Authority for any kind of administrative expense. And largely because we wanted to leave the money available in case projects came about. But I think it would be appropriate when we get into the budget cycle in the next few months to consider whether or not the county could charge some of the administrative costs back to the Brownfield Authority for the last couple of years. We certainly have more than enough money to afford it, but we can discuss that when the budget cycle opens up sometime in June.
Just for the sake of maybe the other board members, because I didn't realize this, when that was first mentioned in the email you sent out in December, Larry and I had a conversation on it, and I posed the question to him as to how do the other boards handle this kind of thing where other staffs are involved. And I think through some of the discussion on the Planning Commission, I now know the answer, but I just wondered if you could give the others a quick summary of the slight different manner in which the Brownfield is organized relative to the county from the other meeting or the other commissions maybe.
Right. So typically what happens is when we have a commission or a council or anything like that, that's under the direct supervision of the Board of Commissioners, and the county assigns staff to that commission or council. The staff is basically provided at county cost for that function because it's supervising a direct county activity. In the case of, say, the Brownfield Authority or the Land Bank Authority would be another example of that. These are separate corporations that are not under the direct supervision of the Board of Commissioners. And what the board does is assign staff to help. But there is an actual cost associated that is not internalized in the county budget. So we do have a plan every year. We're required to do something called a cost allocation plan, and that shows how various personnel time is being used for various functions. The long and short of it is, Lee, to your point, with things like Planning Commission, Board of Public Works, Parks Commission, and so forth, that the administration of those is just considered to be an internal cost of the county government. For the authorities, which are separate corporations, the administration should be a cost of the corporation. It's just that the county has been loaning you staff time and financial services and so forth. So it's entirely at discretion if we want to recover those costs from the Brownfield Authority, which we haven't in the past, as I said, but we might want to think about doing that at some point because there is a true cost to the county government and having us, administer this on your behalf.
So and the difference in us being a corporate entity is in the fact that probably similar to the land bank is we can actually hold physical assets in cash.
That's right. And yeah, you have the power to enter into contracts, hold assets, sue or be sued, which is why we have to have you on our insurance policy. And this is also incidentally why we have to have an independent audit done for the authority every year. We do that as part of the county's audit, but your audit is standalone and it applies just to this corporation.
Dan, who made the decision not to charge, or for the county not to charge the Brownfield in the beginning, since we've never done it?
Well, the long history, I won't bore you with it, but we were, for many, many years, Mike, we were operating at such slim margins every year, trying to maintain a positive fund balance at the end of the year. And Larry has been around long enough to remember we had years where we were seriously in danger of running into a deficit on our balance sheet, which is not allowable under public accounting processes.
Right.
So we declined to take their, I should say, the county declined to charge administrative fees to the Brownfield Authority because doing so would have caused our balance sheet to go upside down. And it just became kind of a practice or habit that we weren't charging the Brownfield Authority for our time. Similarly, the Land Bank Authority, some years we do take our administrative fees. If we have a particularly lucrative year and we make money, we'll take administrative fees. If we have a year where there's very limited activity and not a lot of cost associated with administering it, we oftentimes don't charge administrative fees. The second reason, and I'm sorry to drone on about this, the second reason is
Fine.
prior iterations of this board also made the decision that we were better off leaving the earnings of the Brownfield Authority in the fund balance in the event we wanted to undertake specific projects. We wanted to have the cash or capital to do that. So that's kind of the short history of how it came about.
You did a good job with that, Dan. Good job.
Thank
But
you.
again, I'm not suggesting that we even talk about doing this now. It's not part of our budget this year, but I do think when we get into the budgeting process for next year, we should take a look at it and see what the real costs would be.
Thank you, Dan.
Okay.
On to update on current projects.
Okay, well, I was really hoping that I'd have you guys in here for quite some time because I was expecting to get 2 brownfield plans delivered this month for new developments. In both instances, those projects have been slightly delayed. I have seen the drafts of both projects. There's not a lot I can disclose at this point. I think we've maybe mentioned in the past, one of them pertains to property in North Berrien County, one of them pertains to property in the Benton Township, Benton Harbor area. I know I've said this in the past, but I am confident that we will see at least one of those plans at our April meeting, perhaps, and hopefully 2 of those plans. Both are reasonably sizable projects that are going to require tax increment financing for environmental activities and for infrastructure type activities. So, like I said, I hope to have them today, but it looks like we're going to be looking first week of April before we can actually get them announced and into the public domain. But I think you probably know the ones I'm talking about. They're both of them are very encouraging projects, and we're looking forward to getting those up and underway with the spring construction season coming up. The last thing I'll talk about, and Mike, thank you for forwarding the news article to all the members. I hope you had a chance to read it. The city of Niles has retained a consulting firm to help them deal with the redevelopment of the National Standard Project. I've talked in the past to you about the proposals for that piece of property and the difficulties associated with it because of its contamination, as well as disputes between the various regulatory agencies, the leaseholder and the owner of the property. But it does look like there's going to be some forward movement on this. The consulting firm that Niles hired, the fellow who runs a man named Eric Heltzer. I know Eric real well. We've worked together for 15 or 16 years, and he is one of the true experts in the state of Michigan on brownfield redevelopment and alternative energy projects. Eric was the guy that drafted the majority of the INDEC power plant brownfield plan that we worked on for so long with Niles. The proposal for that property is to try to create some kind of solar energy generating complex on site. We've been talking back and forth internally for a number of months now. But to me, it's very encouraging that Niles has decided to hire Eric directly to work on this project, and I've offered our continuing assistance to their Brownfield Authority and to Eric to do what we can to help them get the project up and running and administer it. So I think it's good news. We're seeing that. We're going to see 2 projects come our way, potentially 1 additional project this summer in the middle part of the county. So we're looking at a year where we probably should see a lot of positive development on the brownfield side.
Good. That's encouraging. Miscellaneous items?
I really don't have any. I'm like I said, I'm sorry to bring you guys in here for such a quick meeting. I just thought that we might as well be in the habit of doing so, but I don't have any outstanding or miscellaneous items, but I'm happy to answer any questions that the board members may have.
How are we doing with Berrien Hills? Is that moving forward?
Well, they're still working. The last update I got on that, Larry, is they're still working on the design phase of the project to see what the density of development would look like. And the most important thing is getting a handle on what the costs will be with not just the infrastructure that would be needed for that site, but it's in a floodplain.
Yeah.
And there are some real challenges to developing commercial and residential units in a floodplain. It's something that, from a planning perspective, we like to discourage, obviously. But if it can be mitigated, then you can do reasonably decent developments in an area like that. It's going to be very, I think, very expensive to do so, and they're trying to work on engineering designs of how that could be carried out. So I can't say I can't tell you one way or another whether I'm truly confident that the project will happen, but we are hopeful it'll happen, and we've offered to do everything we can to try to assist on the public financing side of it.
Okay.
All right. Well, I see from Annette that there's no public comments, so thank you, Annette, for putting that out on the chat. So before we adjourn, I just want to, it looks like we have a new member, Mr. Meeks, so welcome, and thank you for being on the, I believe, I'm sorry, I should know this. Are you a commissioner?
Yes, I am.
Oh, okay, thank you. Thank you. I thought you were.
Well, thanks for the welcome too.
Thank you. Happy to have you.
Don,
So-
I apologize for not introducing you. You're on so many of the boards that we help. It seems like every time we have a board meeting, your face is on Zoom, and I just kind of assume that everyone knew you.
No problem, Dan. No problem.
All right, with that, I'll entertain a motion for the adjournment of the meeting.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second. And thank you, Lee, for taking over without my agenda.
Oh, you're welcome. Not a problem.
Welcome, Don, also.
Probably cost you a beer, Mike.
I know.
So with that, we are adjourned.
Okay,
you.
thanks, everyone.
Have
Thank
a
you.
good weekend, folks, and stay safe.
We'll see you next month.
You all too.
Thank you.